The White House showing senators a video of Bo Bergdahl in captivity to explain why immediate action was needed to win his release. But lawmakers who were there at this meeting, this private meeting last night, well, they say it's raised more questions now than answers. Joining me now, South Dakota Senator John Thune. He's chair of the Senate Republican Conference, and he's my guest today. Great to see you, Senator.
Great to see you, Gretchen.
All right, so I know you were not at this particular meeting, but bipartisan reaction now is not that great as to what they saw. What have you heard?
Well, I've downloaded with a number of my colleagues, and obviously I think the concern that the administration had raised about this soldier's life being in jeopardy, those have been dispelled. I don't think that's an argument they can use anymore, and it sounds like the video pretty much confirmed that. So, you know, they're shifting arguments. They're trying a different track now to justify their action. But I think what's pretty clear about all this is the American people, and both Democrats and Republicans in Congress, are increasingly concerned about what precedent this sets and what it means for the future national security interests of the United States and the American people.
So, Senator, what about the precedent that it sets with regard to not notifying Congress? One of the arguments from some of the aides coming out today was that they didn't tell Senator Chambliss or Senator Feinstein, lead people in the intel community, they didn't tell them because they were fearful that it would become public. And yet they told them months in advance of the Osama bin Laden raid. So what's the difference?
Right. Well, they had an obligation under the law to inform members of Congress, and particularly those members of the Intelligence Committee. And what you've seen from both Senator Feinstein and Senator Chambliss are, you know, statements to the effect that they had no idea this was happening. Well, there is a requirement under the National Defense Authorization Act to provide 30 days and to consult with Congress, none of which was done, which leads to the question why. And I think, you know, clearly the administration wanted to do this. It wanted to go on their own, and I think it's going to make it very difficult in the future for these types of issues. And there's language in the defense authorization bill this year, in the House bill at least, that would prevent any transfers from Guantanamo. And I think it's just going to harden that position among members of Congress because it's clear the administration can't be trusted.
Well, it's interesting because some people have speculated that maybe the president was in favor of this kind of a deal, this prisoner swap, because ultimately he wants to release all of the prisoners from Gitmo and shut it down. Could it actually have the reverse effect now and embolden members like yourself, people in Congress who say, wait a minute, we don't want to do this just yet?
Well, I think this incident and many others that have happened on the president's watch, Gretchen, have basically convinced most members of Congress that this is an administration that flat can't be trusted on these types of issues. So to suggest maybe that this might make it easier for them to close down Guantanamo and to move detainees elsewhere, I think it's going to be much more difficult in the future. This is going to harden, I think, positions that members of Congress had that you can't trust these guys, and clearly this is another example of that, where they broke the law, the notification requirement, and did what they wanted to do irrespective of what members of Congress thought and the requirement that they had to consult with them.
All right. Still so much of the story yet to be told. Senator Thune, thank you for your time today.
Thanks, Gretchen.